Thanks for checking in with YNN this morning. Your news now. I'm Dan Smith, and here's a look at today's top stories.
AED says the biggest challenge it has in taking down Building 23 is the fact that it has steel support structures right next to concrete supports. Analysts say we can't rule out the possibility that Kodak may sell off its film and photo finishing business at some point. It's already sold off a specialty film business and its health imaging segment. Up next here at Kodak Park, the demolition of former manufacturing Building 23, the blue one, it's a big one, and right across the street, another big one, the former research and development complex. Now, that demolition and Kodak's digital transformation are slated to be complete January 1st. To protect the pepper mill, the demolition company plans to build plywood scaffolding in between Building 69 and the restaurant. They also plan to wrap the building in protective fabric and cover up air intakes. Owner Chris Christanis says he's pretty confident things will be okay.
A Greece man serving life in prison for killing his wife and daughter in 2005 wants an order of protection lifted so he can contact his two surviving children. David Zacher has an appearance scheduled today in Monroe County Court. He's serving his life sentence in northern New York. The original order of protection that prevents him from contacting his kids, including one he tried to kill, expires next month.
This was as horrific a case as you could get.
Assistant District Attorney Doug Randall prosecuted the case in 2006. He plans to ask the judge to extend the order of protection for life. A University of Rochester assistant professor charged in a fatal hit-and-run crash has another court appearance set for Thursday. 42-year-old Benjamin Smith, an assistant professor of pediatrics at the U of R, is accused of leaving the scene of an injury accident. 21-year-old Raymond Arnold died in the crash after being pinned in the SUV that rolled over. Benjamin Smith pleaded not guilty in court yesterday and was sent to jail on $10,000 cash bail. University of Rochester President Joel Seligman said the university has encouraged Smith to take a leave of absence. Greece police said they caught a man accused of several burglaries over the past 3 months after he called them to report a stolen cell phone. Police charged 23-year-old Bradley Hendrickson with 5 burglaries in the area of Stowell Drive and English Road between January and March. Investigators said Hendrickson called 911 March 30th to report his cell phone stolen. Earlier that same day, an English Drive resident said he caught Hendrickson trying to break into his home. The two struggled, and police said Hendrickson lost his phone while escaping. Hendrickson is in the Monroe County Jail on $10,000 bail. The U.S. Marshals Service has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the capture of 2 men who escaped from the Monroe County Jail Thursday night. Monroe County Sheriff's deputies said 34-year-old Joseph Lee Mitchell and 35-year-old Eddie Palmer broke out of a second-story window. Investigators said Mitchell, who was in jail awaiting trial on federal drug charges, has ties to people in Arizona and California. Palmer had only a couple weeks left on his sentence for possession of stolen property. Court papers stated Mitchell offered Palmer $50,000 to help him escape. Chris Showerman found an ailing bird inside his Honey Falls chicken coop when he went out for daily chores last week.
I came up to the chicken and I nudged her, and she was barely able to pick her head up before it fell back down on the ground.
The chicken, known as Roberta, died later that night. But not before leaving behind this.
I just couldn't believe it. You open up the chicken coop and sitting inside the nest with like 5 other eggs is just this behemoth.
Little Roberta, as it's now known, came in at 2.5 times the size of a normal egg.
We kind of related it to a woman who has a 25-pound baby. If you do the math, I'm pretty sure that's what eventually led to the death of the chicken.
Chris called the discovery a bittersweet moment.
I was pretty excited when I saw it, but kind of also sad because I knew that chicken put forth its last effort to get this eggs.
Guinness once listed a 142-gram egg as the world record holder. A farmer in China recently claimed a 201-grammer.
I took this into the laboratory where I work, and we massed the egg out on a scale, and it was 138 grams. So
that's over a quarter pound.
So just a few grams short of that previous world record. So I don't know if it's a New York State record or not, but it's definitely a record in my books.
So you might wonder what's next for the monster egg. Well, like many others before it, it's destined for the frying pan.
I'm going to make an omelet. Here's a little ham. Delicious.
But first, Chris's friend, a teacher at Mid-Lake School, plans to take it to class for show and tell. Dan Smith, YNN.
This is important here. This is Virginia's son, Jake. He stood in line for us for about
half an hour.
So thank you very much,
If you're getting
Jake.
kettle corn, you will have to wait for a little while, but now we're set.
All right.
And thank you for buying this for me, Dan. You're very nice.
You're quite welcome. And happy birthday. It's my birthday gift
my
to
birthday
Virginia.
present.
And
Oh, here we
we
are.
are. The parade's underway now. It's just in time. Do you think those beehives are loaded?
I don't think so. Hey, my bees are coming sometime this weekend.
I remember I went out
can't
on a
wait.
story once where a beekeeper lost one of those off a truck, and I got stung in the face.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So I'm a little wary of those. Oh, I'm ready for this every
Here
year.
they
Here we
are.
go. Are you ready?
Ready.
Luke, it is the Lilac Parade. My plan is complete.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you think they get training in the waving and that kind of stuff when they become, crowned?
I bet you do. It must get tiring to do that.
You probably have to switch hands. Now, she's got the wave down. She just sort of holds her arm up, doesn't move it around too much. That's way you don't get tired out.
There you go.
So, for one more year, I'm Dan Smith, along with the birthday girl, Virginia Butler. Thanks for watching.
It's just like George Eastman's old saying, you push the button and we do the rest.
And with the push of a button, former Kodak Engineering Building 23 fell in a matter of seconds after a history that dated back to 1919. Advanced Explosives Demolition Chief Blaster Eric Kelly Sr. liked what he saw.
It went absolutely spectacular. A scale of 1 to 10, definitely a 10.
10 is something most of the crowd didn't hear. The blast started a few minutes later than scheduled, without an audible countdown. Bill Bianchi of Bianchi Industrial Services heard one on his radio.
I think it's perfect. I think everything went. That's one of the most impressive shots I think we've ever done.
Did it scare you? I didn't hear a countdown.
No, it gets my heart going a little bit.
Bianchi's firm now has the task of sorting out the metal for recycling and crushing the concrete for filling in the basement. They'll also have to pull down a corner the blast left standing.
Well, what we did is on that back corner, because the Champion is right next door, their logistical laboratory, what we did is we light loaded those columns, and, just to be on the safe side.
That way, heavy equipment can easily take down the weakened corner without a problem. That leaves just one more question.
Do you like powdered jelly donuts?
No, but boy, Elia does, doesn't she?
And we're sure Eric Kelly's daughter, Elia, a 2-year-old blaster in training, wouldn't mind taking one more look. Kodak Park Management expects Building 23's space to be landscaped with grass and trees in a few months. Dan Smith, our News.
Well, after one round of action here at the LPGA Championship, we have a 3-way tie for the lead. Let's take a look at the abbreviated leaderboard with those top 3 on there. Christy Kerr, Stacy Lewis, and Sunhwa Lee all shot -4 yesterday to tie for the lead. 3 others are in there at -3. And we'll have full golf highlights coming up in sports. Now, only 19 of 149 players ended up shooting under par yesterday, and that's an indication that Locust Hill has made the course tougher for its first major. Here's a look down the 10th fairway as play started on both the front and back 9 this morning. And don't worry, the umbrella there is just for shade on this beautiful sunny day. Yeah, share that, will you? And when the first groups got out there, they had to loosen up a little bit and get ready for 18 holes of golf in round 2 here. And one of those 19 who shot under par, Louise Stahli of Sweden. She sits in a tie for 7th place after shooting a 2 under par 70 in round 1. Stahli is in her 5th year on tour, looking for her first win. Tournament co-director Jerry Stahl talked about winning a major compared to a regular tournament.
I think in a pro's career, they're measured by the number of majors that they win. So you'll hear a very common theme that how many majors have you won, Julie, or how many majors have you won? And it's not necessarily how many tournaments, it's how many majors. So I think there's some added pressure for players to play well and win a major.
And here's a look at that Julie that Jerry referred to, Julie Inkster. She has 7 majors to her credit. She's a Hall of Famer, so Julie Inkster, her 50th birthday yesterday too, still going strong out there, said she feels good and says she can still compete against these younger players. So anyway, once again, 3 players tied for the lead at -4, and it's tougher out here, Virginia. Only 19 players shot under par, and usually we see much more than that at a Locust Hill tournament, but hey, this is major. They have to make it a little tougher.
Southwest Airlines has completed its acquisition of AirTran. It's not yet known how the merger may impact Rochester travelers. AirTran currently flies out of Rochester, but Southwest does not. Southwest said it will immediately begin integrating AirTran into Southwest, but AirTran will continue to operate under its own name for the time being. Southwest said AirTran aircraft will be converted to the Southwest brand starting next year. U.S. leaders said Osama bin Laden likely lived in the compound north of Pakistan's capital for 6 years. It's raised speculation that the Pakistani government knew he was there all along. About 400 Pakistani families live in the greater Rochester area. Many of them belong to the Pakistani American Society of Rochester. Some of them got together last night to talk about bin Laden's death and the fact that he was found hiding in their homeland.
I think Pakistani government and Pakistani military should come clean out of this.
This thing is behind them because it wasn't comfortable for us at all.
The local Pakistanis believe bin Laden's death will help strengthen the sometimes fragile relationship between the U.S. and Pakistan. The parent company of Rochester contact lens maker Cooper Vision raised fiscal 2011 guidance in its second quarter earnings report. The Cooper companies posted a 12% increase in revenue to $325.3 million. That translated to net earnings per share of 73 cents, up from 63 cents for last year's second quarter. Cooper increased fiscal 2011 guidance to $3.90 to $4.05 a share, up from $3.60 to $3.80. Nintendo is expected to unveil the successor to its popular Wii gaming console at this week's Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles. Sony and Microsoft plan to release new games for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox consoles. Electronic Arts and Activision simultaneously released the next chapter in their military franchises, Battlefield and Call of Duty. And the group Rochester Young Professionals hosts an event this week on education beyond a bachelor's degree. It features an education fair, networking, and speakers from a number of local colleges. The event is set for 6 p.m. Wednesday at St. John Fisher College. RSVP on the Rochester Young Professionals Facebook page. There's a link at our website, rochester.ynn.com. That's today's Business Report. I'm Dan Smith.